Hi, Nimrod. It's really lovely to meet you. Finally, even though this is only online, and I look forward to meeting you in due course. And I really appreciate you coming here today just to talk to us about the Gurdjieff movements and the work of the Akhaldans school with Carol. So for the first time, we're bringing Carol to the UK. This work has not been seen before. And what I'm finding is that there's questions that are coming from people about what does the practice really look like. They're looking online, they're seeing some of the Gurdjieff movements, they're asking me questions about it. And so I really wanted to talk with a participant, and of course now I know you're also teaching the movements, to really get an in-depth understanding that can help people understand how this workshop and how these movements will impact them and their lives.
Yeah, sure. Nice to be here.
Super, thank you. So first question from me is, what attracted you to the movements and to Carol's work in the first place?
Yeah. So earlier you said this kind of the school that Carol comes from, and it's called Akhaldans, as you could say the lineage she comes from. And Akhaldans is a term that Gurdjieff, the inventor of the movements, we think he just created this term. And it means, if I remember correctly, it was a very ancient school that maintained certain knowledge about human beings and how they develop and how they live and how their psyche and being works. And this was a school that contained real knowledge of development of consciousness. That's Akhaldans. So this is why Carol's school is called Akhaldans. And this is why I was looking for it. I always felt that there was some truth that normal culture doesn't tell me about. I always felt that there could be more, even just more happiness, more awareness, more compassion. Definitely, I've always felt there could be more compassion in the world. And I was looking, and I think at some point I found Gurdjieff, just a film by a person who made a film about Gurdjieff. And in that film, at the end of the film, there was the movements, the Gurdjieff movements, a demonstration of them by one of Gurdjieff's students. And I just found it beautiful and immediately said, this has truth in this. Right, there is a truth in these dances. Immediately I was attracted. And then it took quite a few years before I found a good teacher. But that's the immediate attraction, was these people who are dancing are experiencing something that is closer to what is real than what I usually experience in my everyday. So I want to be there as well. I guess that's when I think of the first moment of soul movements, that's where it hit me. Yeah.
Thank you. And can you perhaps elaborate a little bit on how does it actually feel to do the movements? How do you feel inside? How do you feel in your body? What happens to your consciousness? What happens to your conscious awareness? What happens to the principle of being in the moment, living on a trip, what's going to happen in the future? So some of those things that we're all, as we're working towards becoming more conscious in our daily lives, love to hear the impact that the movements have on you from that perspective.
Yeah, it's a very deep and varied experience. And I've been doing these movements for, I think, almost 10 years now, and at least 6 or 7 very seriously. So the experience changes from time to time. It's this space that you keep going back to, and it always keeps you awake. You cannot do the movements when you're inwardly asleep. You have to, you're active, you're there. On the other hand, you're not active in a constricted sort of way, because actually then again, you've fallen asleep, you've gone into your mind, you've gone somewhere else. So you make a mistake, or you don't feel the dance as much. So it's this very interesting place where you're in complete surrender, if you can get there, right? So sometimes it takes a while, but you're in complete surrender, and you're in this flow state, and you're with the music, because the music keeps accompanying you, but you're very there. It's not like you're going to the beach to do some, trance dancing, and you completely disappear, and 4 hours later you're like, wow. It's not like that. It's more, you're more there, just moment by moment. You feel yourself dancing, you sense the body, you see your emotions reacting to the music. If it's happy music, you're happy. If it's, more somber music, you're feeling it more deeply. And your mind is also there, kind of with you. It's not a noisy mind, it's a very quiet mind, but it is there. That's if you get there, right? Before you get there, sometimes it's frustrating, like you can't get the movement, or it's enjoyable, like, oh yeah, I'm getting this, more like, oh, it's a nice challenge to learn these movements. Sometimes you're busy with, other people making mistakes, right? That's what you're observing when you're doing it. If you practice for a while, and usually in a retreat is long enough to get there, at least a couple times, by the 3rd, 4th, 5th day, you might get there. Hopefully you'll get there. Then you go into a deeper state that is very conscious, but very, very calm. And it's beautiful, really. You feel like you're performing a ritual that is meaningful for you, but you can't exactly explain how. You can't word it, but you feel that the movements bring out something in you that is connected to something real. So that's I guess part of the experience. That's if you can get there, if you practice long enough, if you really dedicate yourself, you might get to this beautiful, beautiful flow state, and then you can dance for hours. And you don't want to stop when you're there. You want to keep doing the movement. It feels like a prayer, very much.
Sounds amazing. Thank you.